side of your screen. Go ahead and type your questions, and when we finish the presentation, we'll be answering everybody's questions as we get going. So let's go ahead and get started with the presentation. What we're going to do today, as I mentioned a minute ago, is prepare you to make your 2015 plan selection. You'll learn what questions to ask to determine if your doctor is a PPO or HMO provider for the health plan that you select. That is going to be very, very important because there's a lot of craziness going on with provider networks, and we'll go into more detail in just a few minutes. The topics that we're going to talk about today are some of the Affordable Care Act provisions. We'll bring up the insurance companies that are offering plans in the individual and family market, the different types of plan choices that are available to you. We'll talk about Covered California, which is the state exchange program, premium subsidies, which are only available through Covered California. As I mentioned before, provider networks. We'll talk about the enrollment process and the plan effective dates. So, some of the provisions that are included in the Affordable Care Act, otherwise known as Obamacare, are guaranteed issue coverage. That means that if you have any pre-existing conditions at all, it makes no difference. You will be offered coverage. Your premium cannot be rated up because of a pre-existing condition, and you cannot be turned down for coverage. The open enrollment period begins November 15th and runs through February 15th. Once we get beyond February 15, there are special enrollment periods, and I'll talk about who is eligible for those a little later in the presentation. The insurance companies that are offering individual and family plans are Anthem Blue Cross, Assurant Health, Blue Shield of California, Cigna, Health Net, and Kaiser Permanente. Now, all of those carriers, you can purchase plans directly from the carrier. But with some of the carriers, Anthem Blue Cross, Blue Shield, Health Net on a limited basis, and Kaiser, you can also purchase plans through Covered California. And we'll talk more about Covered California in just a few minutes. Let's get into the different types of plan choices that are available. There are 4 levels of plans: platinum, gold, silver, and bronze. With the platinum level plans, these are the most expensive plans, but at claim time, you have the least amount of out-of-pocket cost. So I'm going to focus on a few of the key benefits in the platinum level plan. There is no deductible. The bills are split 90-10. That means the insurance company will pay 90% of the bill. You will pay 10% of the bill. And once your 10% share of cost reaches $4,000 during the calendar year, and this assumes you're using a network provider, you have reached the out-of-pocket maximum limit. So any claims in excess of $4,000 will be paid 100% by the insurance company. Now, if you go to the doctor for a routine office visit, which means you've got something along the lines of a throat infection, an earache, stomach flu, allergies, where all the doctor is going to do is look at your ears, nose, or throat and say, ooh, it's infected, here's a prescription, that's an office visit. Once the doctor starts drawing blood or doing other testing or removing a mole or a wart, now you're beyond an office visit. So when you go in for an office visit, you're going to pay $20 a visit. And on the Platinum plans, your $20 visits are unlimited. Preventive care covers your annual physical exam. For women, your annual pap smear. Now, in addition to covering physical exams, preventive care also includes preventative cancer screening. So for women, that would mean your annual mammogram. For those of you who are over the age of 50, your preventative colonoscopies. And for men, once you get over the age of 40, your prostate exams. And there's a few other cancer screenings that are included if they are deemed to be preventative. All the preventative coverages are paid at 100% as long as you're using an in-network provider. Let's talk about prescription drugs. A generic drug is going to be a $5 copay per prescription. A formulary brand name drug is a $15 copayment, and a non-formulary brand name drug is $25. If you have insurance and you're getting a formulary brand name drug, the drug manufacturer discounts the cost of the drug to the insurance company and to you. If you have a non-formulary brand name drug, doesn't matter what insurance plan you're on, the cost of that drug is going to be higher. So you're going to pay a higher copayment, and the insurance company is going to pick up a larger portion of the drug cost. At the gold level, the premiums are a little less than with platinum. Again, you have no deductible, but this time the bills are split 80-20, where platinum plans were split 90-10. Your out-of-pocket cost is $6,350. So when your 20% gets to $6,350, the insurance company will pick up 100% of your claims for the balance of the calendar year, as long as you're using network providers. When you go out of network, you will have additional out-of-network costs. Okay, sorry about that. Your office visit copay is $30 a visit. And preventive care, which are your physicals and preventative cancer screenings, are covered at 100% when you're using network providers. On prescriptions, you'll notice the copayments are a lot higher. A generic drug is $19, where on the platinum plan it was only $5. The formulary brand name is $50, where on platinum it was $15. And the non-formulary brand name drugs are $70 each, compared to $25 on the platinum plan. When we move to the silver level plans, you now have a $2,000 calendar year deductible, which means you pay 100% of the bills out of pocket until you reach the deductible. If you have more than one family member on the plan, you have a maximum of 2 deductibles per family per calendar year. So as a family of 4, as soon as the second family member reaches the deductible, the third and the fourth family members will not have to satisfy any additional money toward their deductibles, but you do not get a refund on what the third and the fourth family member have already spent toward their deductible. So if a family member reaches the deductible, you then go into an 80-20 split on the bill. The insurance pays 80%, you pay 20%. Your out-of-pocket cost is still $6,350, and that does include your $2,000 deductible plus your 20% share of cost. And again, that's when you're using network providers. Your office visits are $45 each. And again, your annual physicals, female exams, and preventative cancer screening tests are covered at 100% when using network providers. Minor change on the prescription drugs. The co-payments are the same as at the gold level, $19 for generic, $50 for formulary brand name, and $70 for non-formulary brand name. But you'll notice that before you get to the $50 or the $70 brand name copays, each family member has to satisfy a $250 drug deductible. And this applies to all family members. It does not stop once the second family member reaches the deductible. So please keep that in mind. Now, the drug deductible does not apply to generic drugs. So if you're getting a generic prescription, it's just a $19 copay. But on the brand name, you pay 100% of the first $250, then the $50 or the $70 copayments kick in. The bronze level plans have a $5,000 calendar year deductible. Again, you have to satisfy 2 deductibles per family per calendar year. Now, if you're a single person, you only have 1 deductible. But if you have a family plan, which could be you and your spouse, you and your children, or you, your spouse, and your children, then you got a maximum of 2 deductibles. Once you satisfy the deductible, you go into a 70-30 split. Insurance pays 70%, you pay 30%. Your out-of-pocket is capped at $6,350, and that does include your $5,000 deductible plus your 30%. So again, if you reach $6,350 during the calendar year, the insurance company will pick up 100% of the bills for the remainder of the calendar year when you're using network providers. Your office visits are a $60 copay, and each family member is limited to 3 $60 visits in a calendar year. Now remember, this is when you're going in for the throat infection or the earache. So let's say you've used your 3 visits and you need a 4th visit. These types of visits generally run about $100. Might be a little more, a little less, but that cost will go toward your $5,000 deductible once you've satisfied the deductible. Or actually, I take that back. The $100 or whatever the cost is will be applied toward your $5,000 deductible. My mistake. Your physical exams and preventative cancer screenings are free when you're using network providers. On the prescription drugs, a generic drug is a $25 copay, so slightly higher. The brand name drugs are $50. The non-formulary drugs are $75, a little bit higher again than at the other levels.